Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 92 of the Seezus Show. It's been such a long time. I've missed you all, and I've missed, producing podcasts or content or whatever you want to call it. I miss releasing episodes of the Caesar Show. It's nice to be back, and I'm excited because I haven't released an episode since August the 28th. Just to fill you guys in to paint the picture for you guys, I actually decided to take my talents over to Los Angeles, the city of dreams. I just decided that this would be the next chapter in my life. Hopefully I can go on to expand this podcast, get back into film, get into acting, and just do things that I've always wanted to do given the opportunity at hand. So I just had to, say, F it. At the end of the day, it's just like, would you rather do something you love and fail at it, give it your all, or would you be stagnant in your life and let these days go by, and then once you blink, you're older and you just wonder what if. So and it took a lot of confidence to do it and the willpower, but thank God I do have that strong support system, and I'm here now. So a lot of podcasts are going to be done remotely, so I hope you guys enjoy that as well too. Yeah, just to rehash you guys. I mean, like I said, it's been since August the 28th since I recorded my last episode because I was just relocating and waiting on equipment to come and whatnot. So, on episode 91 of the Season Show, it was me and no other than my co-host Trey Day XXIV, and we recorded our last in-person not interview, podcast rather, and we talked about Jacob Blake shooting, NBA players boycotting, the first round impressions, and much, much more. And obviously now it's the middle towards the end of the conference finals on the East and West. So I'm excited to get into today's hottest topics. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, for my co-host, for my day one, Trey Day XXIV. What it do, baby?
What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 92 of the Season Show. You already know it's your boy Trey Day all day. One take, Trey, five, as you already know. Two, three, four. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I'm really happy to be back with you guys, man. Whether it be physically, digitally, however you choose to consume and be with us today. Really happy to be here. What's up, brother? What's up?
Nice man, nice man. You got your wine? Let me see what you got today.
You know what I'm saying? I got the little. It's the protein shake. It's the protein shake, and like we said off air and in our other endeavors, pretty much just using the energy that I have been kind of spending on other stuff, worrying about other stuff, worried about the world we live in a way. Just to kind of take care of home base a little bit, on a 4-day workout schedule out of a 7-day week, but also kind of doing the stretching and the cardio on day 5, as well as like the self care the other days. So I'm really paying attention to what I put into my body. I've changed my diet up. I'm not doing fried foods. That's another thing we got to talk about. I'm not doing fried foods. I'm not doing any rice, any cheeses or nothing like that. I'm doing quinoa, which I learned that is all right with me right now. So I'm doing quinoa, a lot of chicken breasts, a lot of greens, and you know how you kill your abs sometimes in the gym, and then you like, yo, I'm not getting these abs. And you look at it, but I realized that a lot of it's really diet, bro. It's really diet. So it's not really a paleo diet, but it's kind of it's a form of it. A lot of fruits, veggies, and meats, and then of course some grains here and there. But nah, man, I'm getting to it, bro. Really, you know, taking care of self like we all should. Definitely with everything that's going on.
Yeah, man, I like the new routine that you get into. You're building a very, very strong habit, so I'm proud of you for that as well too.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my way around things as well too. So obviously in VA the gyms are opened up. Around where I'm at in LA, they're pretty much closed. Only outdoor gyms are open. Obviously, like I told you off air, I don't get my car until next week, so it's more
Mm.
so just been going on jogs, being at home, doing push-ups, doing sit-ups, and doing like some calf raises and whatnot. So nothing too heavy. I think it should be open up in a couple weeks, so I'm excited to get
Okay.
to that, and I'm just excited to explore. The weather's really nice over here. I guess the only exchange is the after effects of fires. And like I told you off air, I actually went through my first earthquake, which was kind of shocking, but
Sheesh.
at the same time, I'm kind of numb to it in that regard. So it's been pretty interesting, but I've been meeting a good amount of people. So networking has been going pretty good as well too. So literally just taking it one day at a time, and
Okay.
trying to be the best version of myself. And what's cool is now that I'm on West Coast time, I still have that East Coast mindset. So when
You
it's like
getting up
one
early?
o'clock right now, I'm like, all right, it's 4. I'm getting up earlier now. I'm getting the most out of my day. So by the
Yeah.
time it's really like 7, 8 o'clock Pacific time, I'm pretty much done with my day and I'm just relaxing. So
Sheesh.
I like to. It feels good to be working a little harder than I was too. And when you're in uncharted territory, you kind of have to carry that on you.
That
So
edge.
yeah, I like it, man. I like it, man. So you definitely got to come visit soon. So we
I'm
definitely
there.
gonna set that up. I'm excited when you come. Got to show you around the city as well too. So
I'm there.
um,
I'm there.
yeah, but you ready to get into today's hottest topics?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's get it.
All right, cool. So one thing I wanted to bring up, and it just would not sit well with me if I didn't bring it up, was Breonna Taylor. Once again, RIP to Breonna Taylor. But some news, breaking news came in a couple of days ago. So only one of the 3 officers who killed Breonna Taylor has been charged with the crime, and none of the charges are related to her death whatsoever. So once again, the state has denied that Black Lives Matter by failing to hold law enforcement accountable as well too. Everyone who's been following this, who's been a part of the movement, we all felt that as well too. And I just feel upset because I have a baby sister, I have a younger sister, and one day I plan to have kids as well too. So it just sucks because that could literally be anyone that we identify ourselves with, and for them to not uphold their end of the deal, it kind of paints a picture of how, even though this movement is going on strong, we have so much work to do as a nation. So literally just got to take it one day at a time, and hopefully things can get better moving forward. But me, I love to hear your takes on everything, on a spiritual level, mental level, and anything that's dealing with social issues and whatnot. So what are your thoughts on the verdict and the current state with everything?
First off, rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. And I'm gonna travel a little bit as I talk about this, brother.
Go ahead,
Rest,
man. Go ahead.
yeah, travel. Rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. Um, and the biggest thing with it is, the biggest thing for me with it is that I don't know. I think a lot of my takes for this one, I should
Yeah.
probably let you know about it off air. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
that's a little bit of a deeper one. But
Okay.
like I was saying earlier, that and it's partly, we should really come down and we should really focus on, individual sanity in these times, and individual just energy in this time, because there's going to come a point where we have to give that to the group, and we have to do it on a daily basis. We have to look out for each other and stuff like that. But if you're not right on a personal from a personal standpoint, from a personal metric, it's going to be really hard coming down the stretch these next few. And I just think the well-being of each other individually and the group well-being, we just got to be ready for it. So we should be treating ourselves healthy, as a group healthy, and one at a time, really just taking that time to care for self.
Yeah. I agree with you as well too. And just to reiterate, we have to encourage each other, because it's kind of like a domino effect. So we have to encourage each other to vote. We need to vote more than ever. That's how our voices are actually going to get heard, logistically speaking, as well too. So it kind of makes me think as well too, like with the whole bubble experiment. Obviously, starting it off, people had some differences. Like for example, Kyrie Irving basically saying, "Yo, if we essentially go to the bubble, that's distracting everyone from what's going on." Do you think, in a sense, that the bubble is a failed experiment, or do you think, I mean, things like this happen regardless? So we just have to stay the course because no change doesn't happen overnight.
Um, I'm and I can't find a word for it, but I'm not quick anymore to say stay the course
Mm,
in a race or a system that wasn't designed for us to win in the first place.
yeah,
And that's what I'll say on that. Like I said, there's deeper topics to dive down into, but when we say stay the course, and the irony doesn't get lost on me. The irony of her verdict coming years and years after the Emmett Till verdict and stuff like that. Like at a certain point, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, three times, so on and so forth. I love to say it, but I can't be quick to say let's stay the course on a race that wasn't meant for us to win in the first place, and that's how I say it. And I would be open to different options on doing things because kumbaya not gonna work forever,
yeah,
unfortunately. Unfortunately, I mean, and I'm powerful in faith and spirituality, and I believe that people around me are too. But um, I can't lean to the side of insanity. If it doesn't work a couple times, we're gonna have to
I
change
feel
something
you.
up.
Yeah, nah, I definitely feel you, man. And I agree with you as well too. So, yeah, literally just gotta take it day by day, and hopefully change does come as well too. But yeah, you're right. It's a little different when the system is set for you to not succeed. So we'll
Yes,
see
sir.
how that goes as well too. So shout out to, well, not shout out, prayers to Breonna Taylor and her family. Another lost one, another failed attempt, but you didn't die in vain. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep this movement moving forward, and we'll just see what happens from there.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but yeah, I want to take some time to just bring that up as well too, because I wouldn't feel
And
right if I
and
didn't.
as we take our moment of silence, I'm just gonna make a black screen over my camera just to kind of block that out. So when we do that,
So block it out.
yep.
All right, we can black it out.
How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yeah,
I'm
I just
doing.
wanted to make sure we actually took that second and really and we say moments of silence and stuff like that, but we really just need to. It's very important. It's very important. You know.
Yeah, I agree with
And
you, man.
am I good on this side and not too much noise and stuff? Am I good?
You're good, bro. You're good. It's
All right.
it's a remote podcast. I've been seeing a lot of podcasts done remotely, so this is great.
Nah, I can't wait to share all the behind the scenes stuff with you once we finish this one because it's funny. Let's do it, bro. I'm ready.
All right, cool. All right. So before we even get into the conference finals, it's midway towards the end as well too. I want to bring up a couple of different things as well first. So first and foremost, shout out to Billy Donovan. Like I said, I thought he should have been one of the people who should have been coach of the year as well too. And he finally got a new job, and he's going to be the coach of the Chicago Bulls. So
How do you feel about that? I
obviously,
know you like. I'm sorry to cut you off too, but I just when you write, I got to give you your props, give you your kudos, send you bottles of
mhm.
wine. So and maybe I'm doing it prematurely, but how do you feel about it? Because I was like, oh, we should go to Philly, whatever like that, but you were like, nah, he's going to the Bulls. What you think? Is it going to be a successful process?
Yeah, I think it's going to be successful. I mean, if you look at wherever he's been, he's had a winning culture, he's been in a winning environment as well too. So
With young
I
talents.
think with the young talent. So obviously he did it at Florida, won two back-to-back championships, went on to the NBA his first year, went to the conference finals with KD and Russell Westbrook. So he knows how to not only have that dynamic between superstars, but he seems like he's a players coach and he knows how to relate with the players as well too. He's had those superstars, and he's had to rebuild in a way with OKC,
Hmm.
and then he's also had to have Chris Paul as well too. So I think with him, he's already kind of proven that he can win with top tier talent. So I think with him, the new challenge for him is trying to essentially get an historic franchise and try to basically start from the bottom and get them competing again. I mean, they should have a high draft pick and they already have some good players on that roster as well too. So I think he's gonna already have that respect demanded by the team.
Yeah,
And I think he signed about 4 years as well too. So with the East getting better, but still a little bit weak as well too. They're more so top heavy.
yeah.
Who knows? The sky's the limit. I think nothing's gonna happen overnight. I know I kind of say that a lot lately, but I think within like the next 2 years, we're gonna see vast improvements, and we're gonna see them, try to get that 6th through 8th seed. But what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's dope. Looking at it, on a deeper level, I was like, all right, cool. This makes a lot of sense. The players he has though, what is it? Kobe White,
Yeah, Kobe
Zach
White,
Zach Levine,
Markkinen, Levine, Otto
yeah,
Porter, Wendell
all those
Carter.
guys.
Yeah,
And it it leads me to two things for for their ultimate success. I think they
okay.
could play one of those scrappy teams like the OKC was. Really just a team that maybe finds maybe a veteran leader and that is kind of bouncing from contract to contract possibly and gets in there and they just start moving their ways up in the polls and it's like, yo, it's just a hard team to beat. You know what I'm saying? That's what OKC was. They were a hard team to beat. They were always competing. That's what it was. So it could happen like that, or if they went the super traditional route, which now that I'm thinking about it, they probably won't do. They'll probably find again, like they'll find a player, but if they went the super traditional route, you have some trade pieces, get you a guy that can be a catalyst for that team and keep it going, and
Yeah,
keep it going, and keep your your perennial stars that you have, but trade some of that extra talent away and get somebody that you can rely on night in and night out and kind of run it like the OKC with Chris Paul and stuff. But uh, I think it's a good move. Coach Donovan's been successful, like you said, and I'm looking forward to it, man. A reemergence of the East, definitely a Chicago team would be really good for the league.
yeah. And I think they won 22 games last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have an incremental change and go up from 30 to 35, as well too. So
Yeah,
we'll definitely see how that happens as well too. So moving on
sure.
from there, man. I have to say that Kawhi Leonard is no longer the best player in the NBA. I just wanted to bring that up. Clippers had that meltdown, and it was pretty sad. It
Who is
was
the best player
very,
in the
very
NBA?
sad. LeBron
Jamal
James,
Murray,
man.
huh?
LeBron James, man. I've been tweaking the last year and a half. I'm sorry, Bron. You've been injured, and maybe I was just on a super high you know, with with Kawhi, but it's all good, man. It's all good, and we'll see what happens moving forward. And I just feel like superstars in general just have to go through a tough time. I feel like he never really went through that because he went through the Coach Pop system, won a championship, and Finals MVP at a young age. Obviously, he had a little leg problem that derailed him, but he came back and then won another Finals MVP. And then this year, you have him as a favorite with the depth, the coaching staff that the Clippers have, and how he's in his prime right now. You had him at least getting to the conference finals, and for him to not perform in Game 7 along with Pandemic P, it just kind of sucks, to be honest with you. So we'll see
he
how that unfolds as well too. But
was
yeah,
welling.
I think it was good, and it kind of highlighted how we don't hold other players of his caliber to a higher standard that LeBron James is on as well too. It's
It's
actually kind
hard
of
to do so.
ridiculous. It's hard to
The
do so.
consistency is ridiculous. We've never
Yeah.
seen anything like this. And like that's the thing when you like, when you and I'm not gonna use a derogatory term, but when you are like going up, taking up caping for LeBron, there's a lot of variables that can be thrown his way. And there's a lot of, oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. But he's only not doing this and maybe not doing that because he's the only one putting himself in a position consistently year after year to either have the option to win big or lose big. You know what I'm saying? So when you start bringing other people into the fold, and I'm not saying Kawhi's not great, but as it keeps going up, as the train keeps rolling, it's like training camp. People start dropping off. It's like, yo, there's gonna be 100 of us here, but at the end, we're only selecting 25 people, and people start dropping like flies. As the curriculum, the leaps and bounds, the tests, the gauntlets get more and more, and as you start to shift, as you start, get the bad stuff out and strain a certain stuff, then you got the good pieces of what you want at the end of it. So that's what we're realizing it. We're realizing it, and it's like, oh, or yo, like, and you can make any argument. Oh, LeBron had this, LeBron had that. He had to have a team with him. He's the only player that the stakes are high or the stakes are super low. So that is what it is. Put your LeBron cape on if you want to, or you can put it down. But either way, it's going to be a hard argument with LeBron James in it.
Yeah, for sure too. And one thing I start to realize, I'm like, I mean, you can point to Paul George not being consistent. You can point to the lack of chemistry that they were able to develop. You can point to Doc Rivers not necessarily making the coaching adjustments, but if you want to declare essentially subliminally that you're the best player, you're the king of LA and whatnot, then you're going to have to take 99% of that blame, or at least majority
Yeah,
of that blame as well too. So
yeah,
it was good for him, because I feel like this was actually the first time that he had pressure on him to
yeah.
perform at an all-time high level. And you when you think of certain players like a KD, like a LeBron, even Kawhi as well too, you really don't see them not being consistent when it matters most. So that was interesting to see as well. But one thing that I kind of learned was, do you think, because he improves in everything every single year, I don't know if it's just his personality, but do you think the next evolution of Kawhi is to be more demanding of his teammates vocally? Because we have certain leaders, and obviously with him, he leads by example. But do you think he has to add that in him, or that's just how he's built?
I think he's built
Because
like that.
especially sorry for cutting you up, especially like being in the bubble when you don't have that extra energy from the crowd,
Yeah.
you need that person that you can lean on, that's going to be on the court with you. And I just feel like every other superstar for the most part has that in him, but I don't see that in him.
Um, I think for Kawhi that you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that. Even like the Raptors last year, he had Kyle Lowry, who was like the vocal leader, probably the leader of that team, and Kawhi was the muscle of it. From a stats standpoint, but and I'm gonna change locations again. But for the most part, brother, sorry, there's a lot going on in my background.
You're
Uh,
good, man. This is all remote. First
I
one
know
back, so go ahead.
it's all love. It's all love. But I don't think you're gonna see that from Kawhi. You're just not, and I don't think I'm not gonna say because he's and again going back to the Toronto Raptors, he's affected the game without having to do that. It just takes other people doing their job. So you have Doc Rivers, who's a completely vocal coach. You have people like Montrezl Harrell on the team. You had the Morris guy. Not saying those guys are gonna lead the team per se, but those are vocal pieces. Kawhi comes in, does one thing. He scores for you. He plays defense, and he's a catalyst for the team, right? And I'm not gonna ask him to do too much more of that. Like, oh, Kawhi be vocal. The dude doesn't talk. We had a kid on my team. We just call him Silent Bob. He's one of our really good friends on my middle school team. But this dude, and I'll say Silent Bob to keep his identity cool. But this dude could jump out the freaking gym. For real. He could jump out the gym. He like in middle school it was like we were 6th through 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
Down 7-5, and if you were dunking in the middle school, it was like, yo, what? Bob was dunking 7th grade because this was before we could play sports as a 6th grader, so we didn't know if he could dunk in the 6th grade, but Silent Bob was dunking in the 7th grade, but he was not talking. He was super athletic, could hoop, but dude did not talk at all. Now, are we gonna knock him for not talking? No, it might hurt on defense here and there, but dude's still gonna get his buckets. So just like Kawhi, like why am I asking him to go outside his personality for some basketball stuff? He does all the basketball stuff. We'll figure it out by committee, by coaching staff, for all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to agree with you as well too, which makes me go into another tangent. Paul George. So it's just kind of crazy how the Clippers gave up all these first round picks, gave up Shy, gave up Gallinari just to get Paul
The
George.
guys that were hooping.
So they're kind of fucked in a way because they're not going to have any first round picks for quite some time.
Yeah.
So they're literally going to have to find that diamond in the rough as well too. But I'm starting to see and this is what I love about the playoffs. You actually get to see who you get to see players who are built for this. You get to see players perform at a high level every
It takes a
single
toll.
night, bro.
It
Every
takes a
single
toll.
night. And now I'm wondering, you can do this and this and that in the regular season, but when it matters most is the playoffs. And if you can't be consistent, then what are you doing? So it's like, do you think Paul George can learn from this mistake and be that reliable number two option? Because you can argue, Kawhi didn't play as well too, and like I said, he's going to take that blame. But when you're not going, that's when you have to lean on your other teammates, your other star that you added in. Even with AD and Bron, if Bron don't got it going, AD gonna pick up the slack. If AD don't got it going, Bron gonna pick up that slack. What's going to be the next steps for PG? And then Stephen A. Smith said there's a couple, I think about a week or two ago, he was like, he's kind of afraid that PG might become Dwight Howard. So obviously Dwight Howard has the more accolades, as well too, and is a bona fide future Hall of Famer. But with PG, he's saying in the sense of becoming a journeyman, he may be that guy who is that brand name, but his style of play may not translate to winning, and also he may essentially get bounced from team to team. What do you think about that?
So essentially, he was saying that he's the brand name, but it tastes just as good as the store brand.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. The real life. How do I say it? I think for him, it's just being comfortable. Because and I guess a year is a while to be with one team, but we saw what he was doing with the Pacers and stuff like that, who he played with for a few years. I don't see why he can't have the same kind of effect with the Clippers. Just stay there, get grounded, and keep hooping. Because there are times we were like, there was a time last year when we were like, yo, PG's trash. Like, he's not doing too much when he faced Dame. We had the same sentiments kind of this year. He wasn't hitting any shots, whatever like that. But there was a time that he was that option 1A for the Pacers team. Different league, yes, but I just think maybe it's time to stop bouncing around. And it kind of goes back to Dame's comments. It's like he was like, "Yo, we know who real and who not." You know what I'm saying? You keep bouncing around, searching for a championship and looking like that, but you can't hide the work. You can't hide from this. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's truth in the banter sometimes. Not saying that PG is ducking the work, but it's in some scenarios for yourself, it's like transferring around in high school. Those players like, yo, he went here, he was classified. Dude's 25 and he's in the freaking 10th grade. At a certain point, you got to look at yourself and be like, yo, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna see what happens. And to God be the glory if he does. To God be the glory if it don't. Keep it going. You just got to put your foot down and figure it out with one consistent thing. And they're low key lucky right now. They still have Doc Rivers because at least what's going on with Doc Rivers. You understand the coaching and stuff like that. Only down part would be is that he keeps blowing through on leagues, but that's here and over there.
I think out of all coaches, he blew the most 3-1 leads as well
Yeah,
too. And I just want to say this real quick: karma is a bitch. Once you brought up Damian Lillard, I was like, damn, that shit
yep,
really came back to haunt them. 1, 2, 3, Cancun, all of them in Cancun together right now,
yep. On
probably.
the
So
banana boat.
that's crazy. And yeah, it just seemed like they were just never, because like on paper, and we saw glimpses of this not only in the Dallas series, and then obviously every game they kind of just they looked like the superior team, but it just felt like whenever Denver made their runs defensively, they just weren't all together. So I think next year, if they keep the roster intact, I think they can have another shot at going at it because um, I don't know, they're just too good not to get further or deeper in the playoffs as well too. And my thing about you is a lot of people are saying like, you know, obviously you're fucked with draft picks. You have Lou Williams, you have Montrezl Harrell, you have Beverly. Do you keep the roster the same or do you try to get something out of them?
I don't know who or what you're gonna get for some of those pieces. What were they talking about? Trying to ship Trez somewhere or something like that. They said trying to get Trez over to Toronto and all that other stuff. But I don't know. I'm not to my fullest of GM possibilities right now.
Yeah.
Um, I'm don't see your jury. The GM for Toronto is making that move. I
Mm-hmm.
always think he's very creative in his bag of tricks, and he'll have the Toronto playing well again next year. But uh, I'd keep it. The only, you know what, the thing that's not going to keep that team intact is the personalities. They're going to have to,
Personalities is a huge thing, which
yeah,
from what I learned.
yeah. From looking at the headlines and the stuff that got out, the stuff that shouldn't have got out, and stuff like that. That's going to be their downfall. They're going to have to blow that up because it's just not going to be gelling,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a foundational thing. Sometimes it's like, oh, from top to bottom. But I feel like the guys that are role players and stuff like that that have a problem with the PGs, and it's gonna work its way back up to Kawhi, where Kawhi's probably not gonna be happy. And as much as he loves LA, he might just be like, yo, all right, I need this, that, and the third. I'm not gonna be rocking with this team. There's another team in LA. Okay, LeBron James is 35 years old. Okay, the super team wasn't appealing yet last year, but it looks a lot more appealing now. You know what I'm saying? So yo, you
Damn,
better,
he should have just went to
yeah.
the Lakers,
Hey,
bruh.
hey, 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 hey. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You feel what I'm saying? I'm not leaving LA. I love LA. It's my home. So I can do it in this building, or I can do it in this building with a different jersey on.
Bruh. And then also with the bubble and everything going on, like he probably should have stayed in Toronto. They literally just needed a superstar, a nigga that can get his bucket. Because they would have beat they won 7 games with Boston. They would have definitely went to the finals. They would have beat the
they
Miami Heat. But
they would have gave the Lakers a damn good time.
yeah, they got everything they need for AD. They got bodies for Bron. They have depth. They have a great coach. They just had one missing piece. So it's like, damn, it kind of makes you wonder, man. It kind of
Yeah.
makes you wonder. So, anyways, I'm off that. Another thing that I wanted to talk about as well too is what do you think we have to do with the MVP award? Because obviously, some people argued, even LeBron James argued, like he didn't take any credit away from Giannis, but in the same sense, it's like with these voters, y'all only gonna give me 18 votes out of 100 plus votes. Like, what's good with y'all? So, do you think that the MVP or the regular season award should be handed out before the playoffs start, or do you think they just need to have a whole revamping and change some of the words or some of the awards around? So, for example, with the MVP, do you just do Best Player of the Year award, or what do you think about that?
Um, I think you could tweak it a little bit. I think you could maybe go a little bit further into the playoffs for your deliberation and stuff like that. But to my understanding,
Because it's just weird. Like Giannis gets the MVP, and he's not the last man standing. You know what I'm saying? LeBron is still there as well too. So it kind of validates like, yo, like I'm clearly the best player and the most valuable to my team. But yeah,
well,
sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
Nah, I mean, the thing is, unless they change it drastically, and it could become like a campaign thing that's not based off stats somehow, some way, if they drop the ball. But honestly, bro, that's a reflection of our culture. You know, we're
Yeah.
prisoners of the moment. We
Always
love
and
to hate.
forever.
We once we love the guy until he's on the top, and then once he's on top, we hate him. You know,
It's crazy.
and we bet against him. So and these people are basketball analytic people and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're part of the culture. They're just that and the third. They're people just like we are. And if we're not gonna, if me and you are not prepared to come in here and give LeBron his flowers and talk about him for 45 minutes each episode, I don't see. I don't see. I mean, maybe he'll get it next year if he's playing the same way, but he'll be 36. God knows, like 35 playing like this is a blessing. 36, God knows what we're gonna see. God knows how many years he has like this left in him. It doesn't look like he stopped slowing down, but so I don't see that happening, bro. It's a reflection of the culture. These awards, these kudos is about what we value. We value the next big thing.
Yeah.
If we had seen Zion Williamson play 100 games this year, then we probably would have given the MVP to freaking Zion Williamson. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where we are with it.
Yeah.
Now, should they tweak it a little bit? Yes. But as far as just appreciating greatness when it's right in front of us, we have such a tendency to just turn and look at the other lawn and say, "Oh, that grass is green." Nah, grass is green right here. But that's my spill on it.
Yeah, and it's in a way it's like it's 2020, right? So people love stories, right? So it's trying to find that balance between the analytics, the stats with the narrative as well too. So you can make a strong case for both. Like you said, year 17 with Bron. Lakers haven't been to the playoffs for such a long time. He's 35 years old. He's still putting up monster numbers. He leads the lead in assists. He's always had that knock where, oh, he's in the East. He can't get. It's so easy. He basically just skates there. It's a cakewalk. And now he's in the West. He's the number one team, and they're the best team in the NBA. And on one side, you have Giannis. By judging it as well too, you know, you can argue that he was the only superstar on his team, and having 80 cancels out Bron. And you can also argue that he improved from last year, and they had the overall best record in the NBA. So it's like, where do we find that balance between not only producing those numbers and having that value to your team, but also the narrative as well too. So that's always going to be something interesting as well too, because you had a year when Steve Nash averaged like 16 and 9 or 10, and he was MVP. And then you had a year where Russell Westbrook averaged a triple double, and with him he was they were like the 5th or 6th seed. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little weird how they have parameters set in place as well too. So it's going to be something that definitely may have to be tweaked around. But at the end of the day, it's like you can't really be mad. At the end of the day, you can just control what you can control. Obviously, he wanted that. You can tell he's very
Yeah.
passive aggressive with his answers. But at the end of the day, what do you play for?
Sassy,
You play to
sassy as fuck.
win, and what do you try to win? Championship. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I think he's going to win that championship, and people are going to forget about the MVP as well too. So I think he's going to be fine. Which goes into my next topic. Giannis, obviously he's kind of going to be in that 80 Anthony Davis stratosphere as far as like his contract. He's going to have one more year on his contract, and then after that he has a player option. Now, I always talk about this. You already know I always talk about this with small market teams not being meant to basically win. They're it's kind of like with these major market teams, it's kind of like white privilege, and these small market teams, they kind of
They're feeder
have to
teams.
start. Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, knowing that no one's going to really want to, based on the demographics and the standard of living, live in Wisconsin unless you get drafted there, or unless you're kind of in your prime, but you're not a top tier player, you know what I'm saying, or you get acquired through trade or draft. No one's really going to come there as well too. So I feel like what he has now is probably going to be the best he can do. If you're Giannis, what do? Do you take that Anthony Davis route and you flat out just say, yo, I can't get it done with you guys? Or are you like KD and you kind of keep things under the wrap, and then once free agency comes, it happens? Because we know eventually, sometime by the time the season starts, they're going to offer him the super max. And if he says no, There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be trying to trade. If he says yes, then obviously we know that he's there for the long haul, like a Damian Lillard. And obviously, with the front office, they had a meeting right after they got eliminated, and they said essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the luxury tax, and we're going to try to build around you for the next 10 to 15 years as well, too. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I wish Giannis would stop commenting on this like super in depth. Yo, for the next 15 years, I want to be a buck, whatever like that. But even that says something to me. It's like if everything because he sees like I think last quote I seen him is like if everything goes right, I want to be here for the next 15 years. I think we can make it. We can do that. But that's all smoke and mirrors, man. You're young, and I'm not calling him young or dumb, but for the metaphor, you're young, you're dumb. I love you, you love me, XOXOXOXOX, all that shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That first holiday season, the second holiday season come around, money tight. You know what I'm saying? Y'all getting on each other's nerves. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had plans to go to Cabo. Y'all ain't go to Cabo because the pandemic happened. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looking good on the TL. You know what I'm saying? People DMing you, all that. And now you like, yo, baby, we need to talk about us.
He's an
so,
idiot.
and we know some teams that are clearly eyeing them. I just even for the last few, I feel like every move that like Golden State has made has been like, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's like the what you doing text, and it's like, oh, I'm chilling or watching Netflix. You know what I'm saying? If it's not busy, that means it's low key available. So what's good with it? So Golden State, every move they've made is low key like side eyeing him, like from the opposite side of the club. The Heat, who are a very successful, they're very successful. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches, but they got their like big man again, and they're kind of side eyeing them too, even with their success. And it's like, like Milwaukee's in deep, 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 deep water. They're in deep water because you try to put the best things around them. Like you said, that small market's not doing anything for nobody. And even look at the state of the country. You know what I'm saying? Wisconsin, Midwest. You know, foreign player. Um, and that's not the most progressive part of stuff like that. Lord knows what's going to happen in the next few months, as far as vote, 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 vote. But Lord knows what's going to happen in the next few months with everything. So it might be kind of like one of those like sanctuary zones per se for the coast, the spots where people are. There's a little bit more traffic of people, and he might be like, you know what? I know what I said, but let me go ahead and. I feel like it's going to be a very much an AD kind of situation. He's going to get the heck up out of there. He's going to get the heck up out of there. I don't see it going any other way.
Now my thing is now it's like looking at all these teams right now, right? If he
Yeah,
declines that option of the Supermax deal, I don't want him to be like Melo in the sense where like when
yeah,
Melo got to New York, the roster was pretty much gutted. So I wouldn't want to give up so many assets, banking on you knowing that he's not going to resign. Why trade away all these pieces when I know you can come in? So that's
yeah.
sort of the little thing I'm concerned about as well too. But I mean, looking at it,
What's
I
his
feel like the
contract?
best option, like how much he's
What's
getting paid.
when's it up?
So he has technically 2 years left. So when the 2020-2021 season starts, that would be his last year before the player option kicks in. So this will be his
Mm,
last year. So I think the best option for him, honestly, is to probably looking at the assets. I mean, it's going to be another super team created, but the Warriors,
yeah.
they got the number 2 pick. They got Andrew Wiggins. So I mean, I think that should be good enough because when you look at it from an ownership standpoint and you being the general manager of the front office, is like, do we want to lose him and not get nothing back, or do we want to lose him and get some assets back
Yeah,
too?
you
So
gotta
you
get
gotta
some
you
bank.
got you gotta look at that as well too. So it's gonna be interesting in a couple of weeks, couple of months to see how all of this unfolds as well too.
Okay.
Moving on from that, man, I guess we can go into the other topics before we get into the main event. Uh, Mike D'Antoni, obviously, he left Houston as well too, and there's rumors for him now is he may be going to Philly as well too. Now, if he goes to Philly, knowing his style of play, I just feel like Joel Embiid
It's gone.
wouldn't be the best for that, so I think he would get traded. If you're Mike D'Antoni, do you have them coexist, or do you get the boot from Joel Embiid, get some good assets back, and kind of mirror what you've been doing and make Ben Simmons the focal point?
Yeah, only thing I don't understand about Mike D'Antoni is that okay, we haven't won a championship in Houston. We're doing this style of play. Why not create more balance? Because you can have that facet of your offense and still have like, all right, let's slow it down. Let's really get done what we needed to get done, whether it be on defense or whatever like that. And honestly, like we've seen from the Warriors, and I think Joel Embiid is probably one of the best big men, if not the best big men in the game. Like, yo,
Jokic.
that first person start the break or initiate the offense and stuff like that. Like, and you're right, and the Nuggets are a good, and on their own say they're running team. They're a very good half court team because of that pick and roll. But why can't we have like a hybrid of that? You might have to change with the times. Like, and I know it's the fast style of basketball, hybrid style of basketball, but I'm sure Joel Embiid doesn't mind the hybrid style. Only, and you can insert him here and there because if you play chess with Joel Embiid, also the other team also has to play chess, whether it be offense or defensively. So why can't you figure out how to make your work and do it? And there's rumors that with Chris Paul's maybe going around different stuff. Not Chris Paul. Was it Chris Paul? Not Chris Paul. I'm tripping. But I just he has not to compromise, but he has to figure out a good medium. And I think they have a good team to do so with that. Other than that, the other one thing I saw was Joel Embiid to Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, when Warren posted that joint, right? I think it was
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Dinwiddie, Allen, and what's the other guy's name? Levert for
Mm-hmm.
Embiid. Would you do that if you're the Nets?
If
Try to get a big three.
DeAndre Jordan's over there also.
That's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't do it. Nah.
Yeah, I can understand, Mike D'Antoni trying to get greedy and trying to get it going because those are some
Yeah.
good assets. And they'll have you running athletic team, people that are gonna get to the grit. You got Ben Simmons, just kick the ball out, have some people around them, all that good stuff like that. And who's over there? Horford, right? Horford is on the
Mm-hmm.
Sixers. Not saying
I
he's
think
he's
I think if you
Embiid.
get rid of Embiid, then you can keep Horford because he can stretch the floor and he's
Yeah,
more
that's what
so
I'm
built
saying.
for small ball. So I think that could work out. But I mean, if who do you call the guy to discipline? The late Kobe Bryant. If Kobe Bryant went on TV, national television, and said, "Yo, D'Antoni's system will not get you a championship," like why is this guy still getting hired? I mean, granted he's a good regular season coach, but he's proven that he's too stubborn not to make the necessary adjustments. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Because
just like, all right, if you're going there, like, what is the ceiling? I mean, obviously you might
who'd they
have one
lose
of
to
the
the
best
Nuggets?
records. Who?
Uh,
They lost to the
no,
Lakers.
okay. It's just watching that system is abysmal. Like
Yeah,
honestly,
that small ball
like
shit won't work, and he kind of left Houston like in the dust because I think
yeah.
he
So
I think he went
Houston,
to Daryl Morey and he was just like, all right, like Russell Westbrook is not efficient shooting, and what we're gonna have to do is put a lot of shoes around him. So we're gonna get rid of Clint Capella and add X, Y, and Z, and just see how they go. And now they're kind of fucked a little bit. So
yeah.
uh, we'll see what happens with them as well too. That kind of sucks.
He's like,
They
get me
only
out of
want
here, get my next check, please.
All right, let me get my next check. That's crazy. Another question for you. Staying on the D'Antoni, or I guess navigating from D'Antoni towards the players that he just recently coached. Um, James Harden, obviously, he was a six man when he went to the finals. He's reached the conference finals about twice as well too. Only team that was really in his way was, the Dynasty and the Warriors, and obviously the modern day Showtime Lakers. But is he going to be one of those players where he just can't be the number one option to win a championship? And then number two, what do you think has to evolve with this game to, take it to another level?
Hmm. And who you asking about one more time?
James Harden.
Uh, it's that it's that style of play, bro. You gotta get everybody involved. Which he's a good guard. Um, but you have to meet that kind of stuff in the middle, and you have to advocate for a team built around you that can get it done, which that's a tough Rockets team. But let's stop trying to do all this other, crazy stuff. We can fill up the rim, whatever like that, 1,000 points, whatever like that. Let's get some stuff we know we need. Let's get some people that can defend. Let's get me a big person that can protect the rim for us. So I'm not getting banged on screens and then people getting thrown in. So we don't have PJ Tucker, even though what he did help win that one game that who should have won? Who should have won? Uh, it was the Rockets playing who, and we kept saying throw it into the big guy.
Well,
Who are they playing?
OKC.
Yeah, OKC. Yeah. So PJ he can guard Steven Adams, but he shouldn't have to. That looks crazy because it had the right decision been made. Lord knows, and the right time been on the clock. But let's actually play basketball like other people are playing basketball. We still it's a hybrid league, stuff like that. But we still got to get some pieces in here that can naturally do the things we need them to do. So I'm not going out of my way to have to score 50 points just for us to win. Because yes, that's cool. But like I was in the gym playing one day and somebody was telling me, I don't know, telling me they were like trash talking me. I was having a good game. Like like I had probably about 8 or 9 of our points we played to 11. My friend's like, yo, they're not gonna win like that. They're not gonna win like that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm hitting shots. I'm like, yo, and it pissed me off. But at the end of the day, I had to make a pass because they started doubling me at the end of the game, dished it. People weren't ready for it because they hadn't touched the ball. There wasn't any rhythm. It was me getting my off. But you go fast, you go alone. You go far, you go together.
Yeah, I like that. So we'll see. I'm just trying to think now: can Russell Westbrook and James Harden coexist? Because your biggest asset would probably be, I think the assets on that team, obviously people are always going to love 3-and-D players, how the game's so outside in. I mean, outside in now, we're stressing shooting more than ever. So Robert Covington is always going to be someone that teams are going to want. I think PJ Tucker's kind of proven that he can be
He
that
can get it done.
piece, that glue person on a championship team. Eric Gordon is a pretty good asset as well too. But besides that, I mean, that's all you got to work with. So do you sacrifice, let's say, a Russell Westbrook for a Blake Griffin and a Derrick Rose? You think that will work? It might, because that would help him with the big, I think, in today's era.
How tall is the white?
Um,
Like 6'9"?
Dwight 6'9", 6'10", but I don't see Dwight having a remarriage in Houston.
Dwight was in in Detroit playing the freaking 2-3 guard, bro. Dwight's not going down there to be a big man. I do not see that happening.
Nah, so
I feel like,
I said Blake though, Blake Griffin and D Rose for Russell Westbrook. If you had to like touch
oh
up
yeah,
the
yeah, Blake.
roster,
That's what I meant. I don't see Blake going down there. Uh, I feel like it could happen, but I don't know. I'm sure if that's the move that gets you all the way over the hump.
yeah,
The rumblings of Greg Popovich selling his house. He's still the Spurs head coach, correct?
yeah,
Like to this date, yeah. But him selling his house, whatever, like that. Who knows what the Spurs look like if he actually gets the chance to leave, and you have a player like LaMarcus Aldridge that we've heard rumors about trying to go back home. In a home, I say Portland, or maybe looking for another place to play.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, now I guess we can actually talk about what the whole episode is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, before we get into the conference finals, like before even talking about any of the conference finals, last time we had a podcast, I think we were talking about the first round.
Mhm.
What have your thoughts been so far leading up into the conference finals with basketball in general?
Um, Even without the fans and the bubble, whatever thing. No, I'm not saying it's makeshift because they put a lot of time and effort into it. It's been exciting to see. There been matchups was like, yo, I want to watch this. Like I was talking about the Rockets and the OKC. Uh, they were good games. I mean, there was a few of the East teams got swept here and there and all that good stuff, but definitely the past month and a half with the second round games and stuff like that. It's been pretty dope to watch. We were glued to our TV. The Nuggets, for one, making it just worth the while, and they're back at, of course, the 3-1. But It's been good basketball, bro. It's been good sports. It's been something, uh, distraction, non-distraction, whatever like that, to take our minds off a lot of things, take our minds off of maybe what was going on, and it's been fun to watch. So I really commend the players. We keep seeing them like, oh, they haven't seen this. LeBron was talking about how he missed his family and stuff like that. They're sacrificing, for their love of the game and also for our enjoyment of the game and our love of the game as well. So um, overall, it's been a dope playoff opportunity to watch, and the fact that right now there's been games every other day. I think they had to skip a day the other day because like NFL, it was like Monday NFL, but it's been love. We've been getting it in the right doses, and we've been hearing rumblings about when the 2021 season could start. So I've been excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. I have to agree. I think like you said, most shocked about the Nuggets coming back from 2-3-1 deficits, and with the Clippers being the team that was supposed to be the favorites, just folding like that. And then I was also shocked with Giannis basically getting a gentleman's sweep,
Yeah,
which was crazy. And I really,
by
really
the Heat.
loved by the freaking Heat. And I really, really loved that Boston Toronto series. Like that was kind of like old school sort of classic that we had. So that was pretty dope as well. And then it's crazy. You have two superstars in their prime still with Russell Westbrook and Harden
Mhm.
basically getting swept as well, two gentlemen sweep. So it's interesting to see how things unfold as well too. Now with the Eastern Conference Finals, obviously in a perfect world, I would have loved to have had a podcast a couple of weeks ago trying to do a series preview like we always do, but
Mhm.
it's in the middle slash end of the series as well too. And if you would have told me last week that the Heat would not only go up 2-0, but it would eventually be 3-1, I would have been like, bro, you're crazy.
Yeah.
It's just
What?
wild. Like out of all teams, like the Miami Heat, who weren't even a playoff team last year, find a way. I think they were a playoff team last year, actually, right? They may have been a
Yeah.
playoff team last year, and they lost
Yeah.
to I think they lost to.
They were a low seeded team. Like there was like 7 or 8 one day.
No, I think they lost the year before last year. They didn't go to playoffs. Yeah, they didn't go to playoffs last year. But it's just kind of crazy how they managed to turn that franchise around as well too. So credit to Eric Spoelstra and credit to Jimmy Butler, man. He's just a winner at all levels,
Yeah.
bro. Like
He got the working man's haircut. Just to like, I'm not getting a haircut until what's done is done.
what's done is done. What's crazy is like looking at the stats through the first four games. They're dead even in points per game scored at 110.3. The Heat have them by zero point 0.5 in assist. And then the Celtics have more points in the paint, and then the Celtics have a higher 3-point percentage. Yet the Heat lead the series 3-1.
That's just hard.
What are you seeing from both teams, and why do you think it's not working for the Celtics right now?
Um, well, the Heat seem to just be getting it done by committee, man. The defense, the camaraderie, freaking Tyler Hero went off for however many points he went off for, like 30, 37, something like that. Something crazy.
37, yeah.
Yeah, dude's a hooper. And with Boston, again, I think it might be just a clear shot maker. Uh, who do you want the hands? Whose ball? Who do I want to give the ball to when we need these buckets, maybe to get back down from a 10-point deficit or just to finish it up? Um, you know, Finally we kind of saw some life out of Kimba because he's been kind of dormant lately. Um, you still have your Jason Tatum, your Jalen Browns playing well, but I don't know, and it's tough. But I don't know if there's a clear like go with the him, let's get it done person on that team right now. Even with the young guys playing very very well, it's still tough to see. And I think Eric Spoelstra is coaching his ass off. Like once he gets into a rhythm, once that machine gets going, Brad Stevens, whoever, whatever, it's hard to catch back up to that because it seemed. I mean, despite the 3-1 deficit, when it was 1-0, when it was 2-0, it just seemed like the Heat were like taking their souls from them. you know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. And Jimmy Butler is an interesting superstar because he doesn't have to necessarily be the top tier scorer every single night, but just his presence alone really really empowers all those players to perform at an all-time high level as well too. And another thing is, it seems like NBA players have forgotten how to read and react to zone. So
Yeah, yeah.
credit to zones coming back as well too, because that's been a huge thing for them as well too. I kind of wish Gordon Hayward never messed up his ankle as well too. And I thought Gordon Hayward was going to be that piece to help them get over the hump, just to have that extra playmaker and body on that team as well. But um, their size is killing them as well too, and it just seems like they're just being down the stretch as far as X's and O's. Eric Spoelstra is getting the best of Brad Stevens, who's known for his X's and O's. So they're just being really, very, very, very careless with the ball as well too, and their
Yeah.
attention to detail is not there. And Tyler Heroes, for a 20-year-old, I mean, he's up there with
Crazy.
Magic Johnson. I think Derrick Rose, and I forgot another player who was mentioned with 20-year-old scoring that much points in the conference finals. But you can't let him go off like that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to let someone else beat you. So it's crazy. I mean, out of the four teams that remain, and the two teams that are faced with a 3-1 deficit, if I had to choose just based on coaching and the caliber of players, I would give the Celtics the nod to come back. But I expect them to win this game tonight. And then from there, I think the Heat's
Don't know.
going to close it out. But it is a little weird, right? Right? There's no home court advantage, and we in the bubble, so anything can happen. But I just think
Well,
right
keep it a
now,
stack. Keep it a stack. That's the only game they lost, though, right? The Heat.
what?
This last game they lost to the Celtics. Is that the only? It's not. That's the only game they've lost in the bubble
Yeah. So
in the
game
playoffs.
3. Oh, the Heat? No, yeah. So
Yeah.
the Heat lost one game to the Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's when Giannis like didn't play for the rest of the game, and they won that game. And then game 3 was the first game they lost. So they lost 2 games, which is crazy.
It's hard to
So
say they're gonna come back, and it's hard to say that they're gonna let up, because that's the crazy thing about that team. The team doesn't let up. You know,
mhm.
even maybe being the underdog, it's like nah, like, it's like a back alley fight. It's like you know, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go pop my trunk. What makes you think we're gonna let you get to your trunk? You're not gonna get to
Mhm.
your trunk. We're gonna beat your
Yeah,
ass right here. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's pretty crazy, but I my with my heart, I like the underdog mentality, and the underdog story. So going into the series, or before it started, I was voting for the Heat just to see something different. But
mhm.
just logistically speaking, with the amount of star power that the Celtics had, I thought that they would be able to take care of them in 6, 7 games. But I think it's over, and now you're just like, damn, like what do we do moving forward? I mean, one thing that they're missing is a big. It would be good to have an improvement from Tice or from Cantor.
Mhm.
Maybe you can package a Gordon Hayward with the draft pick, to get like a LaMarcus Aldridge who wants to be in the winning environment. I think that would be well. But they definitely need to get a big, and you know they just have to figure it out. I mean, this was Kemba's first year on the fly there, so maybe the second year is a charm. But I got the Miami Heat, um, winning the series and going to the finals since the first time since LeBron James has been there. So that's going to be pretty dope to see. Another question I wanted to ask you as well too. I know when the bubble was starting up as well too, you basically said that there's going to be an asterisk, with everything that happened, and I kind of disagree. I feel like this is probably the toughest, for them, just because with everything going on and them kind of being away from society, as well too, and just trying to find that extra energy to get up for these games as well too. Do you still feel that way?
Um, now my view on it's kind of changed. Definitely listen to some of the Katie's comments and stuff like that. Uh, Looking at it from a holistic standpoint and from just like a player standpoint, I had a comments too that's like, yo, this is gonna be, dog eat dog. This is gonna be just like, let's put lace up and see who's the best and figure it out. So and with the societal constraints and the taxation of mental taxation that it takes. So I give even more kudos to the people that can withstand this bubble, because you beat a team, you're not going to see, it's going to be less and less people in the bubble. So it's weird, it's kind of like not anticlimactic in a way for a player, but in a way it's like, you expect there are going to be more and more people there to view and a higher stage and stuff like that. But it seems like this stage is kind of sunken in, and you have to elevate yourself up out of that, you know, spiritual, mental. It's like it's Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. It's you know what I'm saying? It was a regular duel until they got the freaking Egyptian god cards involved, and the Egyptian god cards, and now we're in freaking the underworld playing for souls and shit. So
done with you, bro. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm done
that's
with
what it is, man. So no, kudos to
you.
them, man. The stakes are high.
Bro brought up the Yu-Gi-Oh analogy. I like it. That's the one thing I like about Trey, man. He's very spontaneous with his analogies. I love that shit.
Blue eyes white dragon, baby.
Blue eyes white
Bring it
dragon,
on.
bro. That's hilarious. Cool. So moving on from that, obviously on the West Coast, we got the Lakers and we got the underdog in the Denver Nuggets as well too. And it's pretty interesting, man. Denver is in a familiar territory. Obviously, they were down 3-1 against Utah. We were all shocked when they went down 3-1 against them, and then they were down 3-1 against the Clippers, and they found a way as well too. This time around, I mean, I still have the Lakers winning the series, but I don't know if I've been spoiled by them coming back, and we're in the bubble, so there's just a lot of random phenomenons that are taking place right now. But I think they can at least win Game 5. I
Okay.
feel pretty. I feel pretty at ease right now. Do you think the Lakers close it out tomorrow night, or do you think the Nuggets prolong it?
Well, the scary part is that the Lakers have been outplayed the last two games, except for the one last night.
Honestly,
The one last night, I don't know because I didn't get a chance to watch it. But they, for the most part, the one that AD hit the shot, they got outplayed, and then the one that Denver won, they definitely got outplayed. Of course, they won. So it's been a fine line, So all it takes is a little bit of juice pumped into that 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 Denver team, and then it's looking like oof, because 3-1 it's totally different from 3-2. When you're looking at it, you're like 3-2, and don't let it be 3-3 because
if it
you
goes
know,
if it goes 7 games, I might have to go for Denver. At that
yeah,
point, it's just like, yo, it's meant to happen. But yeah, like you said, Denver just seems like they're the team that's just been outplaying them as well too. I saw another stat today with the first 4 games, they're tied in points, which is crazy. But I mean, it's kind of hard when you have LeBron James and AD. You have to prepare for each night, so that's one thing to take into consideration as well too. But I think the thing is, honestly, is I feel like Denver still has to find that number 3 option. And now,
uh-huh.
obviously, with Jokic and with Jamal Murray, you kind of know what you're going to get out of them as well too. But they don't have that third option. I still think it should be MPJ. But we'll see what happens with that as well too. Because even yesterday, I know you didn't really watch most of the game and whatnot. In the third quarter, when Denver went up towards the end of the third quarter, MPJ hit a 3 for Denver to either tie it or go up 1. They kind of went away from him in the fourth, then they kind of benched him the whole quarter. I'm just like, yo, like,
Jeez.
what are you doing from a coaching
Yeah.
standpoint as well, too? And then yesterday as well, too, Murray blatantly gets fouled by Bron 2 times in a
Blatantly,
row. You know what I'm saying? So
and
who's
I
to
don't think that's gonna
say if you
happen
don't
rest of the
uh
season. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna review that, and people have been talking about it and stuff like that. Definitely, I think
mm-hmm,
Denver's coach said something about LeBron getting his fouls and stuff like that too. So I
mm-hmm.
think tomorrow's game is gonna be different. I think Denver picks up game. What's this? Six,
It's gonna be
five,
game
five.
5. It's gonna be game 5, yeah.
I think Denver picks that game up, and with the new outlook on it, that's what you're calling fouls on LeBron James. It's gonna look totally different.
Yeah, is definitely gonna look a lot different as well too. But man, I really, 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 really love this Denver team. Obviously, like I was biased with everything, so I was kind of disregarding everything that they were doing, and I was kind of putting the blame on the Clippers. But at the end of
You're
the
such a
day,
hater.
Denver kind of reminds me. Obviously, I'm a Spurs fan. They kind of remind me of like a new age San Antonio Spurs with a
With Tony Parker
hybrid
running
with,
around and Tim
yeah,
Duncan.
bruh, just more athletic and just more skilled. They kind of remind me of that culture, and I really love Mike Malone as well too. And they just looking for that third Ginobili, third option type of player, which I think
Who?
will be MPJ as well
Yeah.
too. But I really like them, man, and And let's just talk about Jamal Murray, bro. Like, I knew he was nice. I still remember two seasons ago when Kyrie was still on the Celtics. I think he almost went for 50 on Kyrie, and Kyrie got mad after the end of the game. He was like, "You're not supposed to try to lay it up when the game is already over. It's disrespectful." Blah 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 blah. But just seeing the flashes of what Murray could be and him like growing up before our eyes is just kind of crazy, man.
Yeah.
Just talk a little bit about Jamal Murray and his level of excellence.
Um, he's been filthy this playoff series. That pick and roll with him and Jokic, um, everything that he's doing for 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 that Nuggets team, getting down the court, distributing, picking his battles, battling some of the best guards in the league, uh, um, Donovan Mitchell, uh, that last series. So it's been like with the Clippers. So and it seems like he's not really being untouched. It's hard to rattle him. And that I thought he was a madman. I thought the series was over for one when he tried to take it in and dunk on Kawhi Leonard, and it didn't go. And then for whatever reason, time keeps going on, and boom, Denver wins the series somehow, some way. But I just thought that was like a last ditch effort. Yo, I'm Jamal Murray. I'm going to come and try to get my rocks off and dunk on Kawhi Leonard, and say it was a good time in the bubble. And that wasn't that. That was like, yo, I'm still coming. I'm still trying to win. And that's like, yo, like what the heck? You know what I'm saying? And it's wild. So Jamal's been ridiculous, bro. And he seems like it's not effortlessly, but he does it at a crazy pace. Bounce back. I saw him like, just like give his hip to somebody and then retreat behind the 3-point line and get a smooth jumper off. And the thing is, Jamal Murray's like what, like 6'5"?
6'4", 6'5",
Yeah, I don't know. He
only
looks shorter on
23.
the court. Yeah, he looks shorter, but he's young. He's solid guard. It's like, yo, that dude's killing it, man, and only has up to go from here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I think he's definitely. It's just so crazy because the West is so stacked with guards, but
Hmm.
I mean, you can argue he can probably be an all star moving forward from here on out as well
He'll get a
too.
lot of
So
votes.
he is going to get a lot of votes too. But and then when I also say the San Antonio Spurs is like with the Spurs, they're kind of under the radar. They have a system where everyone gets the touches. Obviously, there's a pecking order with who's 1A, 1B, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I feel like the fact that they have this certain system intact and the fact that they have so much talent around them, Murray really doesn't have to go off like that during the regular season. They can kind of play at a steady pace. But then when it's the playoff time, kind of like with the Spurs, that's when you see the Tony Parkers, the Ginobili's, the Tim Duncans actually, level up their style of play as well too. So
Yeah.
that may be something that hinders him as well too. But I think the Denver Nuggets by next year, if you say they're favorites, I wouldn't be mad at you as well too because Bobo is not even ready
In the
yet.
fold. Yeah.
MPJ still has a lot to work on. Still has to work on his lateral quickness, his lower body strength. Still has to work on his ball handling, his post up. So they got levels to get to, and they're going to be interesting as well too. And then Jokic, man, I kind of took him for granted as well too. I didn't really think he was. I knew he was nice. I didn't know he was this nice though.
I knew
So I
Jokic
just feel
was a
like,
dog.
yeah. And I was arguing with one of my boys the other day. At first, we used to call like who's the best big because Andy Davis plays a power forward, but who's the best center? We're going back and forth between Joel Embiid and Jokic, but I'm gonna have to give it to Jokic right now.
Yeah, definitely right now.
I'm gonna have to give it to him, and I think the key to the Nuggets winning Game 5 is they just literally have to attack, 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 because the Lakers are one of the oldest teams, so you gotta have to wear them out, and you're gonna have to find. I think they're gonna just have to find a way to create some plays for MPJ, and then credit to Frank Vogel for putting Dwight Howard in the starting lineup as well too, because with Jokic, he not only has to produce all that offense as far as getting his teammates involved and
Yes,
getting
it is, huh?
himself the points, he also has to defend them as well too. So if he can stay out of foul trouble and actually be effective and stay in rhythm, I think the Nuggets have what it takes because they're neck and neck with them as far as scoring wise, and they kind of strap when they have to in moments and spurts. So I think that's going to be the key with them as well too. What do you think?
No, that's big facts. I agree. I agree with it.
But who you got? Who you got winning, and in how many games, man?
Lakers will get it out of the way in six.
In six? Yeah, I said Lakers in six as well too. So we'll see what's good with that as well. So like I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens because it's the bubble. But I love the idea of with everything that's been going on. The Lakers winning a championship for Kobe. I think that's the ultimate way to end the chapter of the bubble shenanigans.
Yes, yes, sir. I agree.
For sure, for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 92 of the Caesar Show. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we faced beforehand, and I hope you still, gain some further insight and enjoy this episode as well too. Episode 93 will be out soon. We don't know when, but it's going to come out real, real soon as well too. And I encourage you guys. We've been away from a hiatus for a bit, but we're going to be a little bit more consistent as well too. Once we figure out how to schedule each other, different time zones, so it can be a bit hectic as well too. But we'll find a way to come to meet each other halfway as well too. But make sure you guys follow Trey Fayez on all forms of social media at TreyDayXXIV,
Yes,
self
sir.
Seezus SIRSEEZUS, and obviously the Caesar Show TheSeezusShow. Available on all major platforms. So do yourself a favor, go check that out, spread the love, and we're just going to continue to keep pushing. Any last words?
What's the price of a black man's life? Unless he dribble Larry Fiddle or Mike's. Rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. $12 million is not the cost of a black woman. It's not the cost to justify death of a pattern of death. And there's other words that can be used for it. Systematic death. Um, there's not a price tag on your soul. There's not a price tag on your existence. Love from me to you to our fans. That's all it is. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor.
Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. And I encourage you guys to go vote and just always spread love at the end of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 92 of the Caesar Show. And on that note, we out.